There. I'm going to do something a little different. A bit of an instructional assistance for anyone that needs to do repairs on their Kawaii 250 1986 digital piano. I'm doing this because my experience with this, ranging over a few years, is a result of some in-person training by a super awesome digital. He repaired clocks and video games and a digital repair specialist, as well as a regular non-electric piano tuner and restorer. Between the two of them, I've been able to learn enough to keep this old country western band Ohio gig instrument that's 30 years old running like a charm. And it's been really hard to figure out some of this stuff, so I figure I might be able to help you a little. I just had to do a few repairs because it's been in storage for 6 months. The tools that I used are a little jewelry pliers because I make wire wrap jewelry and I had it, and my hands are quite dexterous and know what they're doing, so I use that. Also my good old SOG multi-tool. So let us say that you plugged your piano in and you hadn't played it for a while. Just imagine that this was all put together correctly. My issue that I experienced, I plugged it in, I had power, I had sound. However, this key, when you played it, it just stuck down. Now it doesn't do that, but it was touch it and it's not coming up. Same thing for this guy. Another one was a bit sticky. And it's just a result of humidity. So what I did is, first off, I flipped the entire thing up. Right under here, you're going to have 2 screws. There's one right there, and there's one on the other side. You just take your basic Phillips head and undo that. Then you'll be able to, there it is, Kawaii Digital Piano 250. Let's see. Hold on a second. I need both hands. Ooh, all right. So you'll be able to raise it up, and here's what it looks like inside. This is a rather unique instrument. It's a kind of a hybrid. In 1986, the Kawaii company came out with the first digital piano model, and it's a very odd, old, standard wood keys, traditional mechanisms, very much like a regular piano, but it doesn't have the full hammer mechanism. Instead, it has a little electronic sensor. And you know what? I'll just show you that since I'll try to keep this straightforward. If you were to lift this up right back here, there'd be a little electronic sensor. So that's the difference from a non-electric piano. And of course, we have all this mysterious and mystifying electric circuitry, which, this thing's from 1986 and it still runs great, so it's obviously very hardy. This did belong to a country band. It was transported all over the South from Kentucky to Ohio. I bought it. It was not in good shape. The 2 plugs were, the damper plug was missing, and there was also an issue with the power plug. I was able to replace those, and I had to do some work inside, but it's been running like a charm for 3 years. So if you were to go to play it and your keys were refusing to rise again, what you would do is you would take the little washers like this that are around all of these nuts. Unfortunately, this one is stripped and does not come out. So when I go to lift, this is called the tension bar. When you go to lift it, I have to simply leave that guy in place. And what you would do, you'd open it, you'd remove all these little guys, and you'd find them just like this, holding it. Pretty basic washers right there, nuts. You would take your key, you would lift it off this little metal post, and apparently there's a thing called a spacing tool, which I don't have. So once I lifted this up enough, I took my jewelry tool and I just kind of fiddled around, pushed the felt to the side. Then I took my tool and I used this little knife. I used the, well, pretty much anything. I ended up taking the blade itself, sticking it down there. I'm not going to do any more because it's perfect, and just kind of using the serrations to rub and push and adjust the felt. And if I was to simply leave this in a very hot environment, odds are the change in temperature would dry the wood and shrink it enough. I'm being assisted by my heater at the moment, but I did that. Oh, if you find that your when you press down, it doesn't seem to quite connect with it, it's like too soft, or the receiver, the little, what's it called? What the hammer would be hitting, the little electronic receiver for the, that, it's still a little bit tight, but there's not much more I can do. If you either tighten or loosen these screws, if you loosen it up, it raises the key so it has less opportunity to connect with the sensor. If you tighten it, it lowers down. You just left or right. And if you're having issues where you press and you're not getting a loud enough or a soft enough sound to warrant the amount of pressure, mess around with that screw. And of course you can try to dust everything, but that's basically it. The pedals are very straightforward. I haven't had to do any work with those. This is just to understand a little bit more about your keys, how to fix it if they're sticking, if you're not getting the appropriate amount of sound, adjust these little guys, how to take everything apart. Maybe this will help somebody. I hope so. If you find it to be any use, I'm glad. So have a great night.